As always, donate to Jumpstart. Jumpstart helps economically disadvantaged kids play team sports, which is something that's near and dear to Rachel and I's hearts. So if you go to the links in this description below, pretty much all the information that you will need to donate is there. So we really encourage you, if you can, to do so. Again, it's a great cause. We love Jumpstart. They are our charity of choice. If you can, please donate. Rachel, I want you to think about. Actually, you know what? I'm going to phrase this differently. I want you to think out there about someone who maybe is not dealing with death in the family or anything really, really that serious. But I want you to think about someone having the worst sort of tragedy day that they could be having right now.
Okay. Wow, this podcast got off to a somber start.
I know. I want you to imagine that person.
Okay.
What they could possibly be going through. Maybe they got fired from their job, or maybe they're they got their
house flooded.
Yeah, or something like that. My best friend at work is going through something worse.
Okay.
So my best friend at work, shout out Nick, he's my pal.
Just to be clear, not my boyfriend, right?
No, different Nick. Different Nick, sorry.
We'll call him Nick.
I've actually never met your Nick yet. So
he's
so
Nicholas.
We haven't become I haven't met your Nicholas yet, so we haven't become best friends yet. That will happen eventually. But my best pal Nick at work.
Okay.
He has the unfortunate distinction. I've tweeted about this before. But he has the unfortunate distinction of being a diehard Dallas Mavericks and Edmonton Oilers fan.
Oh.
So he was born in Alberta.
Okay, so it's not like he bandwagoned.
No,
all right.
he was born there and he moved to Toronto I would say 3-4 years ago.
So he's a
So he's he's diehard there, and he wears, up until recently, literally up until Monday, he wears a Dallas Mavericks backpack to work every day. That's how he loves the Dallas Mavericks.
Oh no.
How we became pals was going through Salary Swoosh during lunch and mapping out how the Mavs could load up for next year and everything. So there was a
no, and then what happened?
So there was a week in the summer where he went from both of my teams have made the finals.
Oh no, yeah.
To both of my teams, my first team basically got swept in the Mavs, and then the Oilers stormed back only to lose by 1 goal.
So when they were both down 3 Cobb, it was
the worst.
He was depressed, but as a Leafs fan, you could be like, "Hey, shush."
Yeah. So I tweeted.
I'd pay to be down 3-0 in the Cup final.
What's funny is that's how he found out I had Twitter, because I tweeted about it, just being like, my buddy at work, he's going through, he might light himself on fire in a budget meeting tomorrow or something. I don't know what's going on. And he came to work the next day. He's like, "You want to explain this?" And I was like, "Oh," he's like, my girlfriend found it. She was like, "Oh no," it was my I guess it's his girlfriend, not his wife, but my mother-in-law, my girlfriend's mom, found, was show this to Nick. I guess more people are going through what he's going through. And he's like, "No, that's literally me." He tracked it down. And then,
"Hey, what the heck, dude?"
Yeah, he was like, "You want to explain this, huh?" So
incredible. This is King Bob.
So Monday comes in, and by the way that people were treating this man, you would literally expect
that his house had flooded or burned
to
the ground.
Like a person had died in his life, because the Dallas Mavericks traded in. And by the way, I'm not turning this into a first take segment here where we're debating it. This is the most shocking trade in NBA history. That just happened.
I thought it was a joke. To the point
we all thought it was.
You know how when you're like, "Okay, let's check to see if they're verified," and
Mm-hmm.
I still didn't think that it was real. I actually went into the code and was like,
Oh my
does
God.
this match other tweets that Shams has tweeted?
Well, I was expecting, because I've tweet notifications on for Shams. So I was
It used to be Woj.
Well, yeah.
He was the Batman meme where he's looking at the suit.
He was. That guy was having they call it jonesing, for he's having drug withdrawals from. He's like, "I need to break this."
I guarantee you, he knew about it first. I guarantee you.
I don't
he
know,
knew.
man. Like, no one knew about this.
No, I mean, I guarantee you he knew before Shams did and was just like, I will not recall the Batman suit.
Well, remember people would give him quotes and he literally would respond like, F off, I'm retired or something like that. It was like, I don't care.
Like Bob McKenzie knows every trade.
But he just doesn't.
That happens before. Like, I can guarantee you.
Yeah.
I promise you 1,000,000,000% he knew about the JT Miller trade, which we'll talk about.
Yeah, we're going to get into.
But he knew about that trade before any other insider, and he's just like, yo, I'm drinking margaritas.
So obviously, if you don't know, the Dallas Mavericks traded Luka Doncic, top, I would say, 3 player in the NBA.
Top 3 and probably not 3.
Yeah, like top 3 player in the NBA, led them to the finals last year while averaging like 35 points a game.
A 30-point triple-double average.
Like he scored 73 points in a game last year. He was like the face of the franchise. They traded him for Anthony Davis and a 2029 first.
So I have...
and Max Christie, sorry.
I think we need to like rewind a little bit.
Okay.
So... a couple of years ago, somebody asked Mark Cuban, then owner of the Dallas Mavericks.
Oh, this is a great quote. Yeah.
If you had to choose between your wife and Luka Doncic, who would you choose? And he said, you can catch me at my lawyer's office filing for divorce. Fast forward, and he sells his portion of the Mavericks to the Adelson family. If you don't know who the Adelson family is...
They're the worst people in the world.
They're just below Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos, who are like, actually not even a dead heat. Elon Musk is by far the worst person on the planet right now.
Yeah.
But like the Adelsons are objectively awful people, and like you can read about them. There's plenty to do, but this is what happens when you have people that buy teams that don't actually care about winning. So Mark Cuban. If you needed a sign that Mark Cuban has no say in the Mavs anymore, this was your sign, because not only would he have stopped it, like, Nico Harrison would have been like, I'm trading Luka, and he'd have been like, you're fired.
Yeah, it would be like...
100%. You'd have fired him immediately.
You're like, no, you're trading your job for unemployment. Get out of my office.
Get
like,
out.
It's like... So, this all happens, and by the way, this breaks at like midnight on Saturday.
And it was... ridiculous.
It was crazy. It was, honest to God, the fallout from that made it felt like old Twitter. It felt like Twitter before Elon showed up.
Was
like the glory
so
days.
Good.
It was incredible.
The memes that were coming out of it were incredible.
Absolutely incredible.
And you notice how Mark Cuban hasn't said anything? You know he's pissed.
You know what he did? So, ESPN, just to fast forward real quick, ESPN, I read the whole feature. Basically, I believe it was Tim McMahon and Ramona Shelburne put out a big sort of thing.
Yep.
And there's one line in it where it goes, Mark Cuban declined comment when contacted, saying it wasn't his team anymore. And that shows you right there.
Here's the thing. Sometimes no comment
is
a comment.
Absolutely. So,
like, if someone looks at you and says, what do you think about like what do you think about drinking and driving? And somebody goes, no comment. That's a comment.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
That's a comment.
It reminds me of like when R. Kelly was getting interviewed, and the biggest softball question was proposed to him, where it was like, do you like teenage girls? What would you say to that question, Rachel? If someone, like, if you were R. Kelly in that situation?
No.
Yeah. He went, define teenage.
Okay.
And
that was not the answer we were looking for there.
The all-time worst thing to say. That's basically what...
That would be like, yo, P. Diddy, how do you feel about baby oil? No comment.
No comment. Well,
okay.
We know, you know. And so the memes have been great. I think we should talk about the actual trade first. Because who is
Nico Harrison, by the way? Does he have a background of making bad decisions?
So Nico Harrison was a Nike executive for a long time. He was
Nike. I've never heard of that.
No, never. He was the main point of contact with Kobe Bryant, and actually him and Rob Pelinka, who's the Lakers GM, have a good working relationship.
An absolute fleecing.
I know.
By the way,
by the way. So someone what's his name? Jokic. It's a
yeah, I know that.
Yeah. He basically said everything that has come out, and this is a great take. I don't want to make light of the subject matter of his take, but like it's a great take in the sense of like everything that's come out makes it sound like Rob Pelinka groomed Nico Harrison. It's all just like, don't tell anyone about this. Don't and then like,
oh my God, yeah.
with the trades, like don't tell, this is our special secret, you know. And then then it was I remember he came out and said the report was like it was initially Dalton Knacht, who was like way better in a couple firsts, but Rob Pelinka was like made it, really played up Luka's like durability and like conditioning stuff, and was just like, no, that's too much. Like I'm taking a really big risk by talking to you, by doing this. So like we need to do,
I'm
like that kind of thing.
taking a really big risk by acquiring Czech's Notes Luka Doncic.
It's crazy. So the actual trade is, listen, Anthony Davis, fantastic player,
31 years old,
still 31, about to be 32. I have seen his face photoshopped onto the character Mr. Glass from Unbreakable, whose superpower was that he if you touched him, his bones broke.
So that's Joel Embiid.
Yes, but I've seen his face photoshopped onto him before because of his injury. That's how injury prone he is.
And we're worried about Luka's durability?
Max Christie's a good player, but yeah, exactly. Now I've seen a couple comparisons. I want to run them by you.
And just to be clear, like when you're doing a trade like this, all Nico Harrison had to do was tell like 2 other teams Luka's available, he'd have gotten 5 firsts.
No, he would have revolutionized what we've seen in a trade return.
Because it would have been like if you're you're the Raptors, we're Toronto fans. Here are Scotty Barnes, RJ Barrett, 5 firsts, and whoever you want.
That wouldn't have done it.
Like you literally.
I know. But
how about you pick the trade?
Like if he had opened this up, like he could have been like, he could have gotten like Anthony Edwards, like of an unprotected first, like 2 first-round pick swaps. Like he could have gotten players on that level. He could have gotten like Shai Gilgeous-Alexander from
Yup.
Instead,
we're talking MVP caliber. He could have probably got Jamal Murray out of Denver.
Honest to God, he might have gotten Giannis.
Yeah, he probably.
It's crazy. And instead...
And this guy's rocking up here with a 31-year-old Anthony Davis.
Yeah.
And now they're like, oh, we're going to go get Kevin Durant. There was a point where the Dallas Mavericks had Jalen Brunson
and Luka Doncic in the same draft.
And whoever they traded before Kyrie. It was like a big 3 that they had. And now they have none of them. I saw this graphic, and it was like 3 solid players that the Mavs traded away, and Luka's just like front and center. You know what bothers me the most about this trade, though?
What?
How do you not tell Luka?
Because they didn't want him to like, for his agent. They didn't want his agent to know.
How did you let him find out on Twitter?
Yeah, I know, it's crazy.
Like that is when the deal is done.
Dude, they were so secretive. The third team in the trade didn't even know what was happening until it was literally too late from the back out.
Okay, so that happened in the Mikko Rantanen trade.
Yes, and I saw it.
So we have parallels here.
Exactly.
First of all, what are you doing? Ask.
Yeah.
Ask.
But I saw a tweet that was like, Danny Ainge from, because is it Utah they got in on it, I believe? Yeah. Like Utah Jazz were the 3rd team, and they acquired like Jalen Hood Scafino and like 2 second-round picks.
Never heard of that person.
And he was like, Danny Ainge got tacked on this deal for 2 second-round picks, like crack addict. Like it's, like he was just there. But so I want to go through
How do you not ask though? Because like if
crazy.
I'm Danny Ainge, and I'm like it came out that he found out like 30 minutes before, and he's like, oh, it was too late. Okay, I've worked in the league.
Yeah.
The trade call hasn't happened yet. Mm-hmm. You can say, whoa.
Hold the phone here, guys.
Whoa.
Hold the phone.
We're not okay with this. Because if I'm Utah, I'm like, wait a minute here.
I want to get in on this.
I'm in on this. And by the way, I'm now leaking this
to
other front offices.
Yeah. Now.
Because like what if Utah was like, we'll give you like Lauri Markkanen?
LeBron found out when he was out at dinner, like AD found out when he was at home, because he was injured. He didn't play in New York that night. It's crazy. Now I want to go through some comparisons here, Rachel, like, and not like hockey, not society. I want to talk about, because people have made like sports comparisons that are just so ridiculous. Like you honestly can't put this in NHL terms. It's tough to even put this in NFL terms. Like
it would be, okay, so we said Luka's top 3, right?
Yeah. So
it would be like if
like Lamar,
Nathan McKinnon got traded.
Yeah.
Like,
which might
break the NHL.
Which also might sort of lead into a little game I want to play later in the show. But I want to talk about like okay, for example, let me start off with this. I saw someone point out, and Actually, no. I saw someone point out something wrong, so I'm going to adjust it. This trade is like if prime One Direction, like right in the middle of their prime.
R.I.P. Liam.
R.I.P. Liam. But like I'm talking like right in the middle when things were crazy. Yep. They traded Harry Styles in exchange for current day Joe Jonas.
Yes.
It's like that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Who, by the way, the Jonas Brothers showed up to Jonas Brothers trivia night in Toronto at like a bar.
That's great, but like, and I love that
that's funny as hell.
That's awesome. I love they do that, but like superstars don't do that. Like I think that's great, and I love that they did that.
Nick is not doing that. Like Nick Jonas would never be able to do that.
Yeah, but I mean, like, I'm talking like Harry Styles doesn't show up to Harry Styles trivia night.
Justin Bieber not showing up to Justin Bieber trivia night. Exactly.
It's something like that. Another one I saw, I'm not sure, you don't watch a ton of Family Guy, but like this is like if The Simpsons traded Homer Simpson to Family Guy for like Cleveland and Meg.
Yes.
You know, like it's stuff like that.
My favorite one was the NFL one where I was like, incorrect.
Adam Schefter had the worst. That was the worst.
The one I was.
It's like, it's like if you traded Lamar Jackson for Joe Burrow. I'm like, no, that's not.
No, that's actually not it.
That's not the case at all.
That would be like if you traded Lamar Jackson. Okay, who is an average, like a pretty good defender, but like not.
No, that's like if you traded like Lamar Jackson for like Matt Stafford in like 2 first-round picks.
Not even, because like Matt Stafford is still like.
He's still good, but like he's old, and that's like if you traded like I don't know for like what Khalil Mack. Or like,
yeah, like I'm trying to. You know who comes to mind? Yeah. Alex Anzalone, like the Detroit Lions.
Okay, come on. He's better than Alex Anzalone.
No, he's like one of the best linebackers in the league.
Yeah,
but he's not like You're not building a championship team around him.
I'm gonna say it's like if you traded Lamar Jackson for like Trey Hendrickson in a 1st-round pick.
Yeah, which you would,
because he's very good.
Which you would never
do. And he plays a very important position. He's an edge rusher, plays a very important position, but it's still not worth it. No. And AD again, a great player. Anthony Davis, a great player. This is not worth it.
There's like literally maybe one NFL player I'd trade Lamar Jackson for.
Patrick Mahomes?
Exactly.
Yeah. Would you trade Lamar Jackson for Josh Allen?
No.
Really?
No.
Okay, interesting.
I mean, like I think about it, but like. I don't think so, no.
It's tough. It's tough.
Right?
Yeah. So this is absolutely nuts.
But we're talking about like a top 3 player in the league, and Anthony Davis is like not a top 20
and also
player
keep in mind like I would say yes he is. I would say
I don't watch a ton of basketball, but like I bet a ton on basketball. I could name you 20 players that are better than AD. Because they play more often.
Yes.
And they're more impactful in the game.
When you're talking about availability, but AD, like when he is healthy.
Oh, he's incredible.
He's top 15, maybe even top 10. In terms of defense and offense, like he impact on the game. But that's the thing. Like he is either not playing, like he has been good, like by being able to play.
Who would you not trade? Like, if I'm San Antonio, like, I'm probably not giving up Wembanyama for Doncic because I like how young Wembanyama is. But, like, how many other players...
Other than that, there's no one else. Other than Wemby. There's 2 untouchables in the NBA right now.
Wemby and LeBron.
No, Wemby and Bronny.
Well, because you can't trade LeBron.
Because he has no trade clause.
LeBron.
He's no trade clause. But I'm talking, like, you cannot trade Bronny because LeBron will say, no, like, he'll leave. That means there are 2 untouchables in the NBA right now. It's potentially going to be one of the greatest players of all time, and the 55th overall pick in the most recent NBA draft. It's crazy. But you're right that there are parallels to the Mikko Rantanen trade, and we didn't get a chance to talk about it when it happened because we were interviewing Bruce Boudreau last episode. By the way, the feedback we got on that episode, like he's the best, man. That was so much fun. Like he was fantastic. But let's talk about it. So Mikko Rantanen. He is now a Carolina.
So Kyle
Hurricane.
Davidson and Danny Ainge should go out to dinner together. Here's the thing.
No, Kyle
you
Davidson.
owe it to your team, your fan base, the players, the coaches. If you're going to be involved in a 3-way deal, you need to know who the players are in the 3-way deal. It can't just be like Eric Tulsky 100% called Kyle Davidson and was like, yeah, we need you to broker a 3-way deal. It's for this amount of money. Like, how is the next question not... who's the player?
Like this is
because like if it's JT Miller, my response is different than if it's Mikko Rantanen. Mm-hmm. Then I'm like, excuse me. You're going to be giving me a lot more.
I'm very confused as to, like, so with this deal, obviously, like, everyone knows what it is at this point. I need to spell it out. But basically, the Blackhawks are retaining $4.5 million, I guess, through the end of the year. Doesn't matter.
And they get Taylor Hall's salary off the books.
Exactly. But, and again, that's just through the end of the year.
Yeah.
But, like, they got, like, a third-round pick for it. So it's a third round, is retaining, is a third round pick worth $4.5 million? So what point, what is a first round pick worth then? You know, like, is it worth 3 times that basically? Like it's nuts. It makes no sense. You ever heard of the concept of the hotel cuck chair, Rachel?
Yes.
That is what, by the way, I'm seeing a lot more. I'm seeing cuck, desks, like, or, cuck, board tables in hotel rooms. I'm seeing a cuck chair with like a window in front of it. I'm seeing a cuck desk, the executive cuck chair they're calling it.
God.
There's a director at work that him and we text about sports all the time, and he follows me on Twitter, and he's just like, I every single time you tweet about the cuck chair, it makes me laugh. Like, I love it. Like,
it's wild to me that, like, Mike has a full-blown professional job where, like, he's got to wear a dress shirt and go and meet clients, and then, like, you go to his Twitter feed and it is wild. Well, and even better, his Instagram, where he just posts memes and his running stats.
That's all I do. All I do is I post sort of like tweet quote graphics from out of context sports stuff.
Just memes.
It's great. But it's like, that's what basically Kyle Davidson did. Like, there's no reason for the Blackhawks to be in this trade. None. Like, it makes no sense.
Yeah, you got to get something for it.
Like, you get like a third round pick. That's fine. I guess they wanted Taylor Hall's salary off the books, but then we just learned the cap is going to go up to $3 billion approximately next year.
I'm so excited for
which
that.
is going to be great.
You know who's the most excited for that?
Toronto Maple Leafs?
Darren Ferris.
Oh my God.
Yo, that man is...
You just ruined my day. Thanks, Rachel. Thank you. Appreciate it. I was having a good day today, you know? I was just going along, and then I remembered, Mitch Marner's now gonna ask for $15 million, and now I'm gonna kill myself.
He's literally Dr. Evil, like $1
zillion. It's crazy. But do you remember the 2016 NBA offseason?
Depends. What happened?
So they signed a new rights deal with ESPN,
yes!
which meant that the salary cap basically doubled from one year to the next.
That was also the year where, like, who was the guy with the house that had, like, the chair against the door so that
that was DeAndre Jordan. Yeah, where the Clippers locked him in a room so he wouldn't sign with the Mavericks. Funnily enough.
It was so funny. They tweet a picture and then there's, like, the door is barricaded. Like,
they literally barricaded him in a room so he'd stay. But the cap basically doubled that one summer, and the deals that were then handed out, because teams had so much more money to play with. How much do you remember? Let me pull it out. How much do you remember about Timothy Mozgov?
Oh my God. Okay. Yes. I remember the fact that, like, I don't remember what he signed for, but I remember when he signed, it effectively became like a meme because people were like, this man would be getting less than half of that if the salary cap didn't jump the way it did.
How much do you think the total value of Timothy Mozgov's contract was? Now, keep in mind, Timothy Mozgov was... I
do not remember. I don't even remember who he signed with anymore.
It was with the Lakers. He signed with the Lakers.
So it has to be in, like, the $100 million range.
Well, it was 4 years, $64 million.
Jesus.
Luol Deng, also with the Lakers.
Yep, I do remember that.
That was 4 years, $80 million. Like,
okay, so I got them.
I'm talking players like that. Luol Deng, Timothy Mozgov.
More than Connor McDavid. How are we doing?
Oh, with, like, very...
Double,
like Connor McDavid. It triple in some cases. Like, it's crazy. So...
It's gonna be.
I feel like this is gonna happen.
You know what Nathan McKinnon's contract is gonna be hilarious.
Mm-hmm. He's already 12.6. Like,
but that's what I mean. Like, he's gonna be less than 10% of the cap in 3 years. Like, that's hilarious.
Quinn Hughes, think about his deal. It's already a steal.
Well, he only has 2 years left though.
Oh, I know, but the cap is gonna.
He's
gonna
up. Be worth 18. They're gonna have to sign him for like $18 million.
Yeah.
Draisaitl is 14.
Mm-hmm.
That's gonna be like 11% of the cap by the time year 3 hits.
I'm sorry. This is why Austin Matthews didn't sign a max term extension. Like,
and Judd Moldover.
like this is why Matthews isn't giving.
But if you're the Leafs, you kind of get lucky
Mm-hmm.
because if you're Brad Treliving, you can straight up look at Darren Ferris and be like, I understand. Okay, now we can go to like 13, maybe 14.
Mm-hmm.
You're not getting $1 more than Austin Matthews. You are not Austin Matthews.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you're just not. So, like, that still can be the ceiling. Whereas, like, when Cale Makar's deal's up in 2 years.
Oh my God.
$15 million. Thanks for coming.
Like, it's pretty much any good young player who's about to
Bedard,
cash in.
Celebrini.
Dude, even like Jack Hughes is coming up soon. Like not
no,
soon.
he's got like 5 years left.
He signed that deal in like 2021. It's 2025 now. Like he'll have like 4 years left. Think about the cap will be like in 4 years.
Yeah.
Like you'll get like $20 million a year. Like it's
But he's already on a steal because he's $8 million.
Yeah, and because he had a dog first year and he extended right after.
Yeah.
You know, like stuff like that. And so
But like Kaprizov?
Oh, Kaprizov's gonna like take it to the absolute bank. It's crazy. I'm excited. I'm excited to see what Rantanen's gonna get this summer because Mikko Rantanen's pending free agent. Like, and this is this the biggest in-season trade of the salary cap era? Maybe. Who would be bigger than this? I'm talking like, because keep in mind this is a young guy in the like smack dab in the middle of his prime. Like this, the only reason they traded him is because they then decided they won't. He's too good.
Eichel.
But there was so much like
Eichel's a better hockey player.
He is, really than Mikko Rantanen.
Yeah.
Eichel's never scored 100 points.
Eichel's a center.
Yeah.
Eichel was the 1C on a cup-winning team, and Eichel's in the Hart Trophy conversation this year, and he was in the Hart Trophy conversation last year.
Is Mikko Rantanen on the Hart Trophy conversation?
Nope, not even close.
Just because he has Nathan McKinnon and Cale Makar on the same team?
But he's just not. So if you actually look at Mikko Rantanen's underlying statistics, when he's with McKinnon, he puts up a bunch of points. His statistics without McKinnon are not cute. Like it's very clear that McKinnon's the bus driver there, which is why he doesn't get the same sort of push in terms of value that other star players do, right? Where it's like when Matthews and Marner are together, they're really good. But when they're apart, they're also really good. And they can drive their own lines. Mikko Rantanen hasn't been able to drive a line, at least not in Colorado, which is why they haven't been separated. Right?
Yeah.
So you look at it, I think that's part of it. Jack Eichel is literally the Golden Knights engine.
Yeah.
I think that's a bigger trade.
But I would say even then, like there was an inevitable.
And neither one of them are even close to Luka Doncic. You know what? What we want you to do, email pucksocialpod@gmail.com or tweet us. We want you to come up, pretend there are no trade clauses, no movement clauses.
Just anything.
Send us Luka Doncic trades, and all they have to do is be cap compliant.
Yeah.
So don't even worry about no trade clauses. Don't worry about any of that. They just have to be cap compliant. Because Doncic's trade was obviously
like a Doncic-esque trade for the
NHL. So like
but
you
in
could
NHL
say
terms.
I'm trading Mitch Marner because he now doesn't have a no trade clause. So use that as Leon Draisaitl.
Yeah.
The only guy that you can't trade basically is Connor McDavid because he would be the untouchable. He's the Wembanyama.
Okay. I'll put it that way. Yeah.
So you can't put Connor McDavid in the deal, but you could trade Draisaitl.
So because of that trade. Actually, no, not because of that trade. There have been so many trades. We then have to talk about, because we talked with Bruce Boudreau all of last episode about JT Miller and Elias Pettersson. There was then finally the inevitable solution to their feud.
Did you see what Greg Wyshynski said?
What do you say?
Congratulations to the Pittsburgh Penguins for winning the JT Miller deal.
It's true because they ended up getting that first round pick that the New York Rangers traded to the Vancouver Canucks for JT Miller. And this was I do not like that package at all.
Do you know
the Canucks
how
got.
hard it is to get hosed twice in one day?
Yeah.
In the same deal. So I got some inside scoop. So first of all, the Canucks have been trying to acquire Marcus Pettersson since 2022.
They love him. I've heard that they've loved him forever.
Like back when I was working with the team.
They
wanted Marcus Pettersson. Back then he was struggling. So like his value was way down.
He was a depressed asset.
Probably would have been better to get him then. But earlier this year, like when Pittsburgh was in the tank, so it was like American Thanksgiving, like just before American Thanksgiving. I was poking around in Pittsburgh because I did a massive deep dive on the Penguins and how they can sort of retool, which is exactly what Kyle Dubas is doing. And I heard in talking to 5-6 people around the organization, they were not going to move Marcus Pettersson until they got a first-round pick for him.
And they did.
And the Canucks were rumored to be in on Pettersson since November, probably October, because that decor is off maroon bad.
Yeah.
They can't move a puck to save their lives.
And Quinn Hughes is hurt now.
And now Quinn Hughes is hurt. But I had heard from enough people that they were not going to trade Marcus Pettersson if they weren't falling out of it, which they are, and if they weren't getting a first-round pick.
Both lined up.
Lo and behold, they told the Canucks, you got to go get us a first-round pick because the Canucks didn't want to trade their own. Which, like, all right, fine. But Steve Worrier had a great piece in Puckpedia. Steve Worrier is the former AGM of the Panthers. The guy who basically discovered Riley Smith and Jonathan Marchessault.
Yeah.
And he basically was like, why would you acquire something like that and then immediately throw it out the door?
Yeah.
Like, was there nothing else that you could have done?
For JT Miller, too. Like, that was, first of all, like...
So they've turned JT Miller and Bo Horvat into
God.
Filip Hronek, Aatu Ratu.
Hey, listen. Filip Hronek's good.
And, okay, but Filip Hronek, Aatu Ratu, and Marcus Pettersson. And Drew O'Connor.
And, and Filip Hedl.
Right, but I'm talking, like, defense. Like, they flipped those assets.
Yeah, okay.
So, like... Okay, gun to your head, you have JT Miller and Bo Horvat on your team. And I say, I'll trade you Filip Hronek, Marcus Pettersson, Drew O'Connor, Aatu Ratu, and Filip Hedl. Are you taking that trade?
For both of them?
Yeah.
No.
Not even a chance.
No.
Like, what are we doing?
You give me all that for, like,
now,
one of them.
Filip Hedl also was somebody we were after in 2022. You know what's crazy? And I tweeted this out.
What?
The trade that happened with JT Miller is the exact same trade we had agreed to with the New York Rangers in 2022, except it was just a different defenseman.
Who was the defenseman at the time?
Niels Lundqvist.
Oh. What's he even doing these days, by the way? Like
he's injured in Dallas. He was like playing on their second pair.
I know he's on Dallas, but like
But you could have made this trade time ago, re-signed Horvat, and saved yourself this entire headache.
But no. Now everyone hates everybody.
So then your top 3 centers would have been Elias Pettersson, Bo Horvat, Filip Hedl. That's pretty damn good.
But then they would but at the end of the day, it then goes to the fact that they both hate each other. Even though Bo Horvat was there, like this was going to come to a head at a certain point.
No, but this is what I'm saying. Is instead of trading Horvat when you did, trade Miller. Don't sign Miller.
Yeah.
Trade. That's the decision that should have been made. And people in the organization, myself included, told them that. And I mean, to them.
But they
signed Miller.
They saw Miller's points.
Yep. But and I'm seeing a lot of things of like community and whatever. Don't make any mistake about it. JT Miller was fantastic in the community.
Oh yeah.
Like just because he doesn't announce it and make big bold JT Miller and his wife Natalie were fantastic in the community, and I do not want that to get lost. Like I have my own personal thoughts on JT Miller and Elias Pettersson's feud and kind of whose side I'm on there, but I do not want it to get misconstrued. JT Miller was a really good community member. Bo Horvat was just the captain, and so he did a lot because he was the captain of the Canucks and like was a little bit more approachable and a consummate professional all the time in media, all of those things. And so what I think is like all of this could have been avoided. Is Marcus Pettersson going to be great for the Canucks? Yeah, I think he's going to be really good.
I think he's going to fit in exactly.
I think Filip Hronek has been good for the Canucks too.
He has, definitely.
Okay, well, now you're probably going to lose Brock Besser too. And you're going to lose him for probably nothing.
And they then sent out a report that was like they're looking for a young impact winger. Top 6 winger.
You have one?
Like you have one already who loves you guys. Why do you keep trying to...
He's also top 10 in Canucks history in goal scoring.
Yeah.
Maybe just sign that guy.
Crazy. Rachel, I'm going to make this our lifeline in a way because it will come into I would say societal, fun things we want to talk about. So, basically, Luka Doncic got traded due to narrative. Like, due to narrative reasons.
JT Miller also got traded because of narrative.
These, and even Mikko Rantanen, technically with the contract and everything. Narrative.
#narrative.
So I want to go through 5 very good players in the NHL.
Ooh, okay.
And I'm not talking like and you might think it's impossible for these guys to get traded, whatever. I want us to concoct a narrative that could potentially see them get traded.
Oh my god, this is gonna be so fun.
We will start with the Nate Dogg. We'll start with the leading scorer in the NHL. 80 like 1.45 points per game, 80 points in 55 games. Crazy. This is Nathan MacKinnon. What type of narrative, sequence of events could possibly happen to convince the Colorado Avalanche to trade Nathan MacKinnon?
This one's easy.
What?
The guy is a lunatic when it comes to control. Mm-hmm. So it's gonna be something like his teammates, him and Cale Makar butted heads because Nate wouldn't let Cale eat regular pasta. He was forcing him to eat chickpea pasta or whatever. Something crazy like that. It's gonna be discipline and food related.
My theory is that Nathan MacKinnon. My theory would be that the Colorado Avalanche sign a sponsorship deal with Krispy Kreme.
Nathan MacKinnon's just I'm out.
And then and Krispy Kremes start showing up in the locker room before morning skates and stuff. And and he walks in on players, specifically Cale Makar, his brother in arms, now that Mikko Rantanen is gone, eating one.
What if it was a condition of the Krispy Kreme or the McDonald's sponsorship
that he had to eat it?
Nathan MacKinnon has to eat it. Immediately out. He's I'm requesting a trade.
Austin Matthews, he was asked about his burger. He was I had one. He's but it's the middle of the season. I'm keeping it tight. I'm not I had it.
Matthews said that?
Yeah. He's I tried it once, just to be I took a bite of it or whatever. And then I was just it tastes good, but it's the middle of the season. I can't be eating this stuff,
Yeah.
Great.
Crosby is pretty nuts when it comes to his regimen. The guy eats specific brands of peanut butter on game days. But Jack Eichel is also
Jack Eichel has the American Psycho morning routine, but the whole day. He takes
certain type of apple.
He takes 3 showers on game days.
In fairness, I take 2 showers most days.
I do too. More in the morning before work and then that night after my run. But he takes I think it might even be 4 showers actually, because he's wake up, shower, work out, do all this, shower,
morning skate, shower.
It's crazy. It's nuts. All right. So
that's the Nathan MacKinnon one for sure.
Next one is Leon Draisaitl. Now keep in mind, Leon Draisaitl just signed. His deal hasn't even kicked in yet. So has it?
No, next
year.
year.
Yeah, exactly. It kicks in next year. What possible narrative could occur? A series of events could unfold that would convince the Edmonton Oilers at this juncture to trade Leon Draisaitl.
It's so ridiculous, but it's he got into a fist fight with somebody in Oilers media.
Yes, him and Jim. He finally. Here's what I'm gonna say.
David Staples.
Well, David Staples, thankfully, doesn't cover hockey anymore.
No, yeah, he's just writing articles about how Canada should become part of the United States.
What a freaking loser. Here's my theory. The reason they trade him is Jim Matheson asked him why he's pissy again. And so he punches Jim Matheson in the chest. And a Damar Hamlin series of events occurs where he punches him right as the electric pulse of his heart stops. So it stops Jim Matheson's heart, and he is then resuscitated. Thankfully, resuscitated.
Oh yeah, because you don't want anything bad to happen.
With no adverse side effects. However, Jim Matheson, I believe, is in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
So he just punched out a Hall of Fame reporter, and this all was captured. But by the way, this was all captured on live television. This was an Amazon live. No, not even. Yeah, this was an Amazon live game. The most eyeballs you can get on this game. No, ESPN.
Yeah.
Nationally televised game. I would say I would say, yeah, it would be that, because I can't think of any plausible thing that could happen.
Him and McDavid, and they're basically not a thruple, but like
they're quadruple. Like they're
they're a
all
quadruple.
Yeah, like they all move together. The only thing I can think of is that he has a falling out. Like there is.
If there's a falling out between the wives.
Oh yeah.
If there's a falling out between the wives, I could see issues.
Okay.
I don't think Connor and Leon are ever gonna fall out. Leon first of all, Leon bought property in the Greater Toronto area because he trains and like basically lives with McDavid in the summer.
Yeah.
So like they have their own property here. I believe Celeste, his wife to be, is from Ontario. And like I honestly I don't see Leon and Connor falling out because they've been through so much crap in Edmonton together that I think they're just like that is like diamond strength like relationship. But I mean,
so him punching Jim Matheson so hard it stops his heart on live television.
That or the wives have a falling out.
Okay. Next one, obviously, Austin Matthews.
Could you imagine?
What?
By the way, if we had to trade this player because their wives had a falling out.
I mean, was that not
Eric Carlson and Mike
was
Hoffman?
that not Mike Hoffman? Like, and by the way, a falling out is a pretty broad way of glossing over.
Yeah, that was not a falling out. That was full-ass bullying.
Bullying someone for having a stillbirth. Like,
that's not crazy. What we're talking about.
No, I know.
Because you can't. Don't do that. Don't do that.
Austin Matthews. He just signed his deal. You know, he just got the captaincy.
He gets frustrated with Mitch Marner, and there's like a clashing of heads, and then Nylander says, "Quick, stop crying, bro." And and then he's like, "I'm out. I don't want to deal with this anymore." I could see that being it. Or he goes, pick, you ban Steve Simmons or I leave.
So I have two. One is Austin Matthews, during the offseason, contracts some sort of airborne... He goes on a tropical vacation and catches some sort of airborne illness. Not even airborne. He catches some sort of illness. You know, the things that you have to get vaccinated for before you go on vacations.
Yeah.
But it's he gets like bird flu or something.
Oh no.
However, thankfully survives and everything. However, Steve Simmons gets a hold of it and once again publishes without his consent that Austin
Matthews takes a hockey stick to Steve Simmons' head.
Exactly. My other one is that Austin Matthews and Justin Bieber have a Drake Kendrick Lamar falling out.
Ooh!
Justin Bieber then writes a diss, I guess would be song about Justin Bieber or about Austin Matthews in their falling out. And just out of pure spite, because he knows how much Justin Bieber loves the Toronto Maple Leafs, he goes, "You know what? You're gonna diss me. I'm going to leave your hockey team and go away. Go to like LA or something." I would say that is the only scenario.
Like the other ones are like the Nathan McKinnon one is legit realistic. Draisaitl's, honestly, I could see him losing his mind on Jim Matheson.
Yep.
The thing with Matthews is I could just straight up see him leaving because he's just like, I can't win here.
Yeah. Although,
I actually think that that's the thing where he's like, I don't know if I can win here because of all of the crap that happens in that locker room. Like, there was a player that told your colleague, like, sometimes it's really tough to deal with that dressing room. Yeah. I could see Matthews going, check, please. Even though he's part of it.
Yes. I would say he's not blameless in all this.
If it were to come to a head, I think it would be less about money and more about him actually wanting to win and whether or not he believes he can actually do that. I think that that's probably the most likely scenario is he doesn't believe that they can win if they keep certain players or if they don't keep certain players kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I said 5. For time reasons, we're going to do 4. So the last one, of course, Sidney Crosby.
Okay.
What series of events could occur that would lead to Sidney Crosby getting traded?
If they trade Malkin. Done. That one was quick. We can do the 5th.
Okay, we'll do the 5th. If they trade
Malkin, he's like, and they're not good. Thanks for coming.
I have another one.
And also, there was a poll in The Athletic that came out today that was like, where do you not want to play? And there was like this paragraph of like a player being like, I hate Philadelphia. I would never want to play there. I'd rather play
Is that Sidney Crosby probably?
It has to be Crosby.
Yeah. So I have another one. And I'm not sure if any of you have seen this, but Sidney Crosby wears the same jock since he was like a child. Like
16?
Yeah. That thing is like
sewn together multiple times.
If anyone but him, because his body has clearly built up a natural immunity to the bacteria that's on it, but if anyone but him touched that, it would be like touching one of the graphite rods from the Chernobyl reactor. Like it would kill you almost instantly. Another thing that I could see him getting asked for a trade is if the Pittsburgh Penguins somehow instituted a policy that he had to change his jock or he would not be allowed to play. Or like his equipment. No, like I'm just saying just his jock. Like he had to buy a new jock because
he'd be like,
this one is too dangerous or something to kept in the locker room because there's new equipment standards in just the Pittsburgh Penguins, and we need everyone to be more protected down there. I think he would then be like, no, I'm gone.
I'm out.
Yeah.
But yeah, if they trade Malkin, I'm pretty sure he's going to be like, all right, thank you.
And the final one is Matthew Tkachuk.
Man, I have some thoughts about Matthew Tkachuk right now, and none of them are good.
I know.
Well, if Matthew Tkachuk if he lost the Stanley Cup in the ocean because he was too drunk, and Florida had to be like, all right, well, we can't, like, now we're cursed because we've dropped the Stanley Cup into the ocean, and we might never win again if we don't trade you. I could see that, or I could see a scenario where him and Brady are like, we want to play together.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I could easily, by the way, how annoying would that be?
Be so annoying.
Could you imagine playing Matthew and Brady on the same line? Oh my God.
I would say because Matthew Tkachuk is clearly such a patriot that I could see him suiting up for a very important game. A Canadian boos the national anthem. He pulls a Ron Artest, goes into the crowd, beats a man with his shoe.
Mike Milbury.
Unfortunately, however, his shoes have knives on them because they're skates. He kills a man. He is legally not allowed to work in the state of Florida because he is on trial for murder. He must
that is such a ridiculous theory.
So he must be traded.
Dude. Okay.
That is the only scenario other than him wanting to team up with his brother that I can see Matthew Tkachuk getting traded.
Imagine, or he like drops the cup off of like the elbow room balcony and
breaks it.
And breaks it.
And then he gets the death penalty. So
literally the hockey equivalent of the death penalty.
He gets traded to the afterlife because he has died.
You are now a member of the Arizona Coyotes, and by the Coyotes, I mean you don't play hockey anymore.
You're getting sent to Arizona. That's a great way to put it. A lot of people go to Arizona to die too. Retirees. So
that and Florida.
Perfect. He's right where he needs to be.
What is it? The gateway to heaven?
It's Heaven's Highway or something that they call it.
Also, can we on that note, why I never understood this.
Mm-hmm.
Why do teams who win championships go to the White House or the House of Commons? Like when the Raptors won and they went to see Trudeau, it's like why?
You know what?
Sasha Barkov is the captain.
He doesn't give a shit, man.
Did you see him holding the jersey? He was like,
yeah, he doesn't care.
No one cares. I don't understand. You see people, and this is something I'm actually I said this even back when Obama was the president. If you want to say stick to sports,
you can't do
then
this.
The politicians also don't get to do that.
So do you know why they do this? It's because back before 2016.
Yeah.
The office of the President of the United States was held such reverence. It was an honor. It was an honor to be there.
Yeah.
And so it was seen as a reward for the team that they got to go and meet the President of the United States, take a photo op with him, go there, present him with the jersey, present him with a gift. Obviously, Trump, and to a lesser extent, whatever's happening in Canada now, has denigrated the office of the president / prime minister. So,
I just don't see a need for it
Whereas
generally speaking,
Kanye West is like sitting next to Trump in you know, like it just it doesn't like it stripped the reverence out of it.
Even growing up, I was like, I don't understand why. In the same way that I do not and will never, and maybe this is because of my European background, I do not understand why when we're playing club games, why we're playing the national anthem. Like, that to me makes no sense. At the Four Nations, when Canada plays the US, you play the anthems.
Yeah, but during like...
At the World Cup, when the two teams are playing, you play the two anthems.
But if you're playing a league game, no.
You're playing in a league. Why does the anthem need to be played?
Yeah.
And they're like, well, military and veterans and this and that. Once again, politics and sports, church and state. If you can't, to me, you can't pick and choose as a society, and we're puck social, like we talk about society and sports.
Live in a society.
You don't get to choose when you stick to sports and when you don't. And theoretically speaking, if you're going to allow the shows of patriotism and all of that, then you also should be allowing the show of pride and all of the other specialty jerseys. If we're allowed to wear military jerseys, we're also allowed to wear pride.
Absolutely.
Jerseys, right? If we're going to play...
And indigenous pride and all that, like, you know, Chinese New Year, like all that kind of stuff.
All of that stuff. First of all, I think those jerseys are cool and revenue generating. Why would you not want to sell them?
Yeah.
But that's besides the point. I think to me, like, I look at it and I go, I never understood, like, the whole wanting to go to the prime minister's office or the president, to Washington. Maybe because, like, once again, like in Europe, no one cares. They hold a celebration, like a parade, and like that's that. Like, it doesn't need to have all of this like pomp and circumstance, and especially now where things are like in deep turmoil. Like, I don't see why we need to do this. And also, like, there are more than just Canadians and Americans. It's one thing, like, let's say the U.S. wins Olympic gold.
Yeah.
By all means, go to the White House.
Sure.
Because that is a patriotic thing.
And also, like, you're getting, like, the government is funding U.S. hockey or whatever. Like, so, like,
but you're also, like, that's a patriotic thing. So, like, when the Germans won the World Cup in 2014, they all went to the Bundestag.
Yeah.
And they were greeted by the president, the chancellor, all of that.
And it's also because, like, the German...
playing for the German national team.
Yeah, and also, like, because the German government funds the German soccer development program, or whatever it's called. Like, same with, like, the government of Canada funds Hockey Canada. So if they win, it's like, all right, let's go.
You can go and see them. The last time I checked, the United States government does not fund the Florida Panthers or the NHL for that.
They only fund the Kansas City Chiefs. That's the only thing they fund.
No, but kind of what I'm saying is like, if it's a patriotic thing where it's like, you win the Olympics.
Oh, no, it makes sense.
You know what? Then you can go to the White House. Like, I get that. But, like, we're talking about a team that's captained by a Finn that is more than 50% Canadian.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't even make sense.
It doesn't make sense.
Half the people that were standing in that little row thing are not even American. Like, I just looked at that and I was like, once again, this is how I feel about it. And, like, I never understood why it needed to happen in the first place. So to me, national anthems should be reserved for national games, and visiting places of government should be reserved for national championships.
You know what I've never understood, Rachel?
What?
Why people don't donate to Jumpstart, our charity of choice.
I donate to Jumpstart.
You do? I do as well. Jumpstart is our charity of choice, though. It helps economically disadvantaged kids play team sports, which is a cause that's so near and dear to Rachel and I's hearts. All of the links to donate will be in the description of this episode. So be sure to if you are able to go and donate and use them and everything. It's, again, a great cause. And yeah, what we urge you to do is, if you can, send us your Luka Doncic-esque level NHL trades, and all we ask is that they're cap compliant, and we will rate them on the next episode.
We'll say yay or nay.
You will say yay or nay. Do you have anything else to add before we bid our lovely, attractive, sexy listeners a farewell?
Make sure you get your crush Valentine's Day card.
Okay, do that. So Rachel will then be allowing her address out because all our fans adore her. So she will, clearly she will be doxing herself.
I have a question.
What?
Even though I'm fully dating Nicholas, he has to ask me to
Yeah.
be his Valentine?
You always do.
Okay.
It is never.
Does that change when you get married?
No.
It's always, will you be my Valentine?
If anything, you have to ask. If anything, you have to scrutinize it more when you're married.
So he still has to ask me to be his Valentine.
He absolutely still has to ask you to be his Valentine. And if and when you eventually get married, you then have to screen him even harder. There might be years where he will not earn the right to be your Valentine.
You'd be like, no, I'll be your wife. I will not be your
Not
Valentine.
be your Valentine. There's another level to that.
Yeah.
So
All
make
right,
sure,
cool.
ladies,
Noted.
just because you're dating someone doesn't mean that they've earned your Valentine. You need to make sure they earn it.
Keep your standards high.
Mm-hmm.
And your head higher.
And your bank account even higher. And on that note, peace.